I came up with the idea of making a tablet cover for Valentine's Day. So there's a lot of glare on this side, so I'm going to be using this side. So now we are going to be using the Red Heart soft yarn because I really wanted something sturdy but soft. And we are going to be making the Tunisian smocking stitch. So it's done with a Tunisian hook. This hook is a 10 US and or you can call it a J or a 6 millimeter, and of course it needs to be long because it needs to go from side to side of your cover. So what you want to do is you want to figure out how many stitches you want for this. So I made my swatch with 14 stitches, and let me show you, get this a little bit closer so you can see how nice that looks. So what you want to do with this is that you want to take do your math. And with my math, I am going to say that if 14 stitches, which is my swatch, I have 14 stitches here, and that gives me 3.3 inches. So I measure my swatch, and that gives me 3.3 inches. So in order to have 9.5 inches, which is the width of my tablet, how many stitches do I need to work with? So let's do the math like always, because this is very simple, so no problem. If 14 stitches give me 3.3 inches, that I know for sure. And I know for sure that I want 9.5 inches to cover side to side of my tablet. So I'm going to multiply the two crossed given numbers, which is 14 and 9.5. So I'm multiplying 9.5 times 14, and it gives me 133. So the 133 you're going to divide by 3.3, which is the leftover number, and it comes up with 40.3 inches. So I'm going to work with 40 stitches. And so here I worked with 40 stitches, and you can see that it gives me the width of the tablet. So let's go and see how this is done. We're now making the smocking stitch. It's done with a Tunisian hook, and it's pretty thick. It turns out pretty thick, so you can use a thicker hook than what the yarn calls for. So for this swatch, for demonstration, I'm going to do only 10 stitches. So I make my slip knot, and I do 10 chains. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now that's my chain, but I want to work in the back of it. I want to pick up only the bumps in the back of each stitch. So I have one there, and I go and pick up the next bump. So it's right there. So pick up, and then pick up the next. So I have 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wonderful. So now I want to yarn over always the first stitch on the Tunisian on the smocking stitch, you only take off 1 at the beginning. So yarn over and then take off 2, yarn over, 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 take off 2, and yarn over, take off 2. Now with the smocking stitch, you're going to be having V's. Therefore, you're going to be picking up 2 at a time. And so the yarn overs that you're going to be making are not the usual way like this, but you're going to pick up like this. This will be your yarn over. Again, the yarn overs that you're going to be making are top to bottom, and hold on to your yarn, and then you're going to pick up the next 2 bars. So pick up, and now you have 3, yarn over, pick up the next 2, yarn over, pick up the next 2, yarn over, pick up the next 2, yarn over, and then pick up the edge stitch, which is right there and the back. So now you have 11 stitches. You will always have an extra one when you pick up your stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So yarn over, take off 1, yarn over, take off 2, which is that one and the next, yarn over, take off 2, 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 the whole way. So now, very important, you don't yarn over after this one on, this is row 2, we already did row 1, and you can see your V's there. So now you want to go and pick up the first strand of your first V. If you can see it, it's right there. So let me put the camera a little bit closer. Okay. So now that will be your first strand. Pick it up. Now yarn over, hold on to your yarn and pick up that one and the next. And you do need to hold on to the yarn over because then it slips off your needle. So yarn over, pick up that one and the next, yarn over, that one and the next. So you're picking up the sides of the previous V's, if you can see them. So you're picking up, and so yarn over, pick up that last strand from the other side of that V, so it's by itself, and then go and pick up the edge stitch. So now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 stitches again. Now yarn over, let me get some more yarn here. And take off 1. And then yarn over, take off that one and the next, and that one and the next. So take off 2, take off 2, take off 2, the whole row. Okay, so we're going to see, that is the way it's looking. So they're alternating the V's. Very pretty. Okay, so let's repeat these 2 rows again. The row coming back doesn't count. So I'm back on row number 1, and you want to yarn over and pick up that stitch that has the other side. So that one and the next, and yarn over that one and the next. You can see how we're alternating the V's. So yarn over that one and the next, yarn over that one and the next, yarn over, and you go and pick up that edge stitch together with the back. So now we're back to 11 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Now yarn over, take off 1, and then take off 2, take off 2, the whole row. Whoops, I got distracted. Take off 2, take off 2, take off 2. There we go. Now we're back to row number 2. So we are going to go and pick up only that first strand. You can see it. Pick up only that strand without yarning over first. So this is row 2. You don't yarn over between that first one and the next. So it's only that one, and then yarn over, and that one. So you're picking up the sides of the V's. See, you're alternating them. So yarn over that one and the next, yarn over these 2, yarn over that one by itself, and then you go and pick up the edge together with the back. So you're back to 11 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And now we take off 1, and then 2, and then 2, and then the next 2, the next 2, and like that the whole row. And this is how the Tunisian smock stitch is done. Very pretty to cover tablets, or and it turns out nice and thick. So very, very pretty stitch. Now to bind off this stitch, you see you have all those little holes. You don't want to leave it like that. So what you want to do is that you want to go and pick up each one of these. And it's really very simple. You sometimes you can single crochet, but what I want to do is just pick up that strand and pass your yarn through. So pick up the next and pass your yarn through the 2, like slipping. So pick up and slip the 2 off, pick up and slip the 2 off, pick up, slip the 2 off, all the way on each one of those vertical strands, vertical legs, I call them. So pick up, off, pick up, off, and then you go to your edge stitch with the front and the back and take off. And that's it. You're done. And this is a very, very pretty, see how pretty that looks? and the finishing is very pretty. So that's the beginning, that's the end. So you have a very nice piece of work. Now I have the two sides of my tablet cover, and I made it just a little bit longer so that it can slide in nicely. See, I want it open on the side, not on top, but I want my tablet to go in like this. So now I have the two wrong sides together and the two right sides together with the stitch looking up. And I am going to take, see, I left a long tail on this, on one of the sides, so like that when I start my stitch I can use the same yarn until I have to add some more, so I don't have too many knots on the corner. So let me go into there, and I am going to single crochet around. So I pass through there and single crochet. I pick up one side and the next and single crochet. Let me get this a little bit closer so you can see me better. So I pick up the whole chain from the front and from the back, and I single crochet them together, the whole chain from the front and from the back, and crochet them together, single crochet them. So like that you have a very nice finish. So crochet, single crochet them around, and I will see you when I get to that corner there. Okay, so I'm at the corner. That's one of the tails. I'm just going to tuck it in, and I am exactly at the corner of each side. So I'm going to pick it up. If I wanted an edge, I would make 3 single crochets into that same spot, but I really want it a little bit rounded, so I'm just going to make 2 single crochets into the same spot, and then I'm going to continue on to the side of it, picking up from one side and from the other, and single crochet from one side and the other, single crochet one side and the other, and single crochet, and so on, and I'll see you when I get to the other corner. Okay, I'm on the edge of the next corner, so I'm making 1, and on the same space I make another one, and then I continue with another side in the front and on the back. And let me show you how nicely shaped this is looking, because you put your tablet there and see how pretty that is looking. So it has a very nice sturdy shape. So I'll continue on to the other side. Now these two sides I did with a G hook, but this side was a little bit bigger because that's the side where I casted on my stitches and they were bigger. So in order to make them smaller, I had to change to an F hook. So now I'm at the edge here. Let's get my G hook again, and I chained 1, and now I'm going to go on each one of the loops on the side, and I am going to single crochet on one side and on the other. So I'm going to single crochet around, and I will make 2 rows of single crochet, and I will come back when I finish that. At this stage, you're going to have to decide whether you want to use snaps. You can put them on the inside of the edge here. Then you would have to make 2 more rounds. Or Velcro, and you would have to make 2 more rounds. Or a button, a big button like this. Or one like this. Or one like this. I think I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to go around and I will make my loop on the other side so I can put this one on the button on this side. What I did here is that I made 12 chains. You measure your button and see that it goes around it, but I made 12 chains and I came back over the chains with a single crochet. Now what I want to do is that I want to put my yarn in the back, come into the next stitch and pick up that stitch from the loop that I made. So I want to go through there and through this one and through the one that I had before, and I will now single crochet until the end of my work. So there we go. Let's go in single crochet to the end. I had already cut my yarn. So there we have it. See, now you have a very nice loop right there that is crossed, and it goes nicely around the button on the other side. So now what you want to do is, once you've made your last stitch there, you want to pass your yarn through, get your needle, and go over that last loop and into that same one, so that like that you create a new one, see, and it doesn't show. Go to the back and make a little knot in the back to reinforce it, and now you can weave it in. There we go. Okay, weave in all your ends, and there we have it. And I'm going to sew the button and I'll take a picture of it, and you're going to see how pretty that looks, and it looks very nice with the tablet in. So I'll take some pictures and show them.